Hello, this is Jack Foley, and I'm going to be reading you a poem and then a couple of shorter poems as well. I'm very happy to be able to do this through the good offices of Shajil Andrew and his wonderful magazine, Litterateur TV, which has as its project the process of redefining world. We could do that. That would be something that would be very profitable for the world. Let's have a better world. These poems, well, the first one is a birthday poem for myself. And I've been doing that for a number of years. And on August 9th, I will turn 81. I'm 80 at the moment, and quite soon I'll be 81. By the time you see this, I probably will be 81. So you're watching a slightly earlier version of Jack Foley at 81. The first poem is called The Listener, August, because August was indeed my birth month. Augustus, following Julius, named a month for himself, turning a 10-month calendar into a 12. Better for Christianity, with its mad obsession with 3. And so I came into the world, ancient history clinging to my bones, the dog days of summer, when the sun is in Leo, then is nature burnt up and made weak. According to Macrobius, Augustus chose this month because it was the time of his great triumphs, including the conquest of Egypt. Meteor showers occur during August, mysterious heavenly events, not unlike birth itself. And of course there are the guns of August. Empire colors my birth. Leo, August 9th, 1940. Wars in the world when I came into it. How many still remember blackouts when the lights were turned off and the shades were drawn and we were told to be silent? How many remember spam, gratefully dispensed with when the war was over and I'll be home for Christmas became a reality? You turned out the lights to listen to the radio, so the voices would be clearer. Did I close my eyes? Don't touch that dial. It's time for Blondie. I'm that man, Matt Dillon, U.S. Marshal, the first man they look for and the last they want to meet. Families on the radio were comic, often with an inept father at the helm and a long-suffering mother who loved him. Don't open that closet, McGee! Crash, bam, thump. Everything falling. That's what is called their habitat, Mr. McGee. I want to know what their habits are. I don't care where their habits at. Voices projecting a loneliness that gave the medium its depth. The gaudiest, the most violent, the lonesomest mile in the world. Broadway, my beat. It's a chancy job, but it makes a man watchful and a little lonely. Who knows what evil lurks in the hearts of men? The shadow knows. Voices telling me of the world as I listened in the dark space of our 3-room apartment in Portchester, New York, in the USA, in the Northern Hemisphere, in the world lit by the sun and the moon, in the universe in which I and my entire planet was only a tiny speck. Henry? Henry Aldrich? Coming, Mother? Who knew? Who knew? 80+ years. Though the voices are gone, I am still a listener. And these 2 short poems are for 2 different people who both died, one very recently. The first is for Janice Mirakatani, who was the Poet Laureate of San Francisco and a great mover and shaker in God Memorial Church in San Francisco, a great church in San Francisco. The second poem is for Jose Arguelles, who was the twin brother of a dear friend of mine, the poet Ivan Arguelles. He was very, very active and a prominent force in the New Age movement. If you heard about the harmonic convergence and what might occur as a result of that, that was because of Jose. Not that he caused the heavenly event, but he caused the reaction to it, the understanding of it. 2 poems, and they're written in a stanzaic form by Louis Zukowski, who published a book called 80 Flowers. And I felt that these stanzas were meant to be an indication of what it meant to be 80, a flowering at 80. And they're interesting. They're short stanzas, 8 lines, 5 words in each line. It's a strict stanza. At the same time, the words are separate from one another. They are individual words, not necessarily connected at all by syntax. But syntax has its own powers, and sometimes they do connect in that way. There are various other modes of connection as well. But they're very free, as I say, no syntax. At the same time that the form is also very strict. That's what it's like to be 80. A kind of freedom in which you can think about all kinds of things, all kinds of words and what they might mean. And at the same time, you're caught in a stanza which has an inevitable outcome. A flower for Janice, after Zukowski. Birds cry, raindrop, middle sky, moon, mask breath, hyacinth, mansion, moan. Hailstones murmur, felicitous under raven. Mercury, snowdrop, visions, heaven's circle. Leaf under leaf drop, rose undone. Animal mastery, violin, broken, flames, Middlesex, voice, rose undone, falling. Sleep now, Janice. Janice spoke stars. And this, for Jose Arguelles, is the prophet, again after Zukowski. Bridges, flame, mystery, far, megalith, Mahabharata, stone, birth child, Melos, lone, twinned, twined, heavy, auspicious, bright, Indian, in Dios, lost, regained, Valam, Votan, pebbles, sand, grain, brush, canvas, fallacy, time, lips, beauty, failing, open, heaven, fall, rainbow, 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 ash, wind. Again, this is Jack Foley. Thanks for listening. I'll look forward to all the other poets in this series.